Sienna Sinclaire, and I'm here today with another business tip to talk about how to find your niche. I know a lot of us don't know exactly what we want to do yet, or we've found out what we want to do, but we don't know how to narrow it down to find our customer. And I'm here to show you how with some examples. After teaching my first business class on not giving up on your dream, I had a lot of people email me about questions on the part where I told you to write down 10 things that you love, like such as hobbies or things that you do, and narrowing it down. And people wanted me to cover that a little bit more. And I thought this was a perfect time to cover it because narrowing it down helps you to find your niche. In my last video, I told everyone to write down 10 things that they love. It can be a hobby such as, scrapbooking, to decorating, to cooking, anything. And then to narrow it down by scratching off 7 things that you didn't think that you would really enjoy as a business. And with the 3 left, to really think about those last 3 that you could turn into a business. So my next step for that would be to find what you're passionate about. And I don't mean that you like to cook. Are you really passionate about cooking? I mean, does it feed your soul? Do you wake up every day going, oh my gosh, I can't wait to cook. I've got a new menu. I've got all these ideas in my head. And I mean, just again, when you come to your last 3, you literally want to write down all the ideas that come to your head. And you'll find out when you do this, which one excites you more and which one you're more passionate about. And when I talk about passion, I'm talking about things that excite you when you get up in the morning, that keep you going throughout the day. I mean, it could be anything from doing outdoor sports, anything. What is it that gets your juices flowing? So just sit down and really think about those last 3 things on your list and just go through each one and write down every possible way that ideas that you can come up with, blogs, videos, Instagram advice, anything that you can come up with for your business. And I promise you, by doing this way, you'll see out of the 3, which one gets you more excited. And that's the one that you can turn into your business. So I hope that explains it a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and share an example with you about my past and the jobs that I had. And I want you to do the same. When you look at your list, I want you to go back and look at all the jobs that you had and that you currently have and see if you can find something common about them all. For example, for me, the one thing that I did, when I was younger, I worked at a hair salon. I worked food and beverage, meaning, bars, restaurants, anything hospitality. I worked as a cart girl at a golf course and at a gym. And the one common thing that I realized about all the jobs that I did is it wasn't that I loved working at a gym. It wasn't that I loved working at a restaurant. What I loved is that I loved helping people. I loved, the hospitality, greeting people, making them happy. That is what I love to do. I love to just make people happy, know that the event that I'm throwing is blowing their mind and that they're gonna go home and go, oh my gosh, Sienna throws amazing parties. So I'm all about helping people, even when it comes to coaching and teaching classes, for example, this. I love knowing that I gave you some advice and I helped you to better yourself, whether it's your business, your confidence, or whatever it is. That's just something I love. So that's the common thing that I have. So whether you picked 3 things, yes, those 3 things, I could always do something where I'm helping someone. But as I said before, you really need to narrow it down and find out what your true passion is. For me, in my business, was the naughty. So I combined things that I'm really passionate about, and that was sexuality, travel, and history. I'm a huge history buff. I've written my books on history, on the naughty history, and I narrowed it down, my niche, to naughty things. But there's so many things that I can do with travel, sexuality, and history. So I narrowed it down to travel books when I first started. And also my naughty website where you can see pictures of me. But that was just the beginning of who I was about to become. And you need to do the same thing to find your passion. And not just find out, what you're passionate about, but what you really want to do, and to find a common ground with what it is that you really like to do. One thing that's important to help you find your niche and to help you to move forward is to know that your passion can change, and it will change all the time. New things will come along. And for me, it wasn't just about helping people to explore their sexuality or learn about naughty history or sexy places to go, and all about fun and entertaining people. As I moved forward with my naughty business, I had another passion. I started to see in the adult industry and sex parties that people discriminated a lot against race, sex, your sexuality, your looks, body type. So I made it my mission through my parties that I was not going to discriminate. I was never someone who did that before, but I was definitely not going to be that person when I hosted my parties. So my passion had changed. I'm still about entertaining people, but I want to entertain all people and know that all bodies are welcome and that everybody can come and have fun no matter what you look like or your body size. Because unfortunately, the adult industry and the sex party world is very discriminating, unfortunately. So that's something where my passion changed, where I saw something in the industry that I was already in, and I made an effort to make sure that I made that a point through my business. I let people know, if you are an ugly person on the inside and you do not like women who have curves, or you're very particular about a look, then don't come to my parties, because my parties are probably not for you, and that's okay. There's tons of other parties where for me, it was all about my people coming and having a good time and no judgment. So remember that as you move along, your passion will change. Just whether you started your business or whether you're waiting to start your business, as I talked about in my last video on not giving up on your dream. You can have your dream that you want, and then as time goes on, you could go, you know what, I want to add this to my business, to make it better, to make it more meaningful. And again, this is what's going to help you with finding your niche and also finding the customers who love what you stand for. And the last tip is to help you to narrow your niche down even more. So let's say out of the 3, you picked your top one that you're really passionate about and you have all these amazing ideas for. I'm going to help you narrow it down even more, because the thing about a business, and I know you've probably heard this before, is you can't cater to everyone, and you shouldn't. Your business is not for everybody. And the more that you narrow it down, the more that you will help define your customer, and your customers will come to you because they share the same interests and passions that you do. And you really just need quality customers. It's not about how many Instagram followers you have or how many newsletter followers you have. It's the quality of them, meaning, do they really care about your business and buy from you? Because without quality customers, you will not have a business. If you just have a bunch of randoms, you're not going to do very well. So narrow it down. So let's say that you picked your passion, and I'm just going to use this as an example. I've used it before, scrapbooking. It is something that I love to do, not something I want to do a business for, but it is something that I love to do as a hobby. So let's say that your passion is scrapbooking, and you found out and you said to yourself, why do I love scrapbooking? What is it about scrapbooking that I want to turn into a business? Maybe it's, sharing family moments where you can get your scrapbook business and, families can come to you, or they can buy items from you, and they can really have family time. So you're promoting family time. But not just family, people who love to take photos and not just share them on Instagram, but have them in a book, where they can, display it at their house. Just really creating memories is what you're about for scrapbooking. So how do we narrow this down even more to really help you find your niche? Because there are tons of scrapbooking websites out there. Don't believe me, look it up. So how do you narrow down your scrapbooking business to a very specific niche? These are just examples. For one, Scrapbooking is very time consuming, as a scrapbooker would know. And not everybody has time to do scrapbooks. For example, me, I'm very busy, I'm traveling. As much as I love to post my photos on Instagram, I like it in a book. Just like I like to read books, I still like to read magazines and newspapers. I prefer print just the same as I prefer opening my scrapbook and flipping through the pages. So maybe you create your business where you make the scrapbooks for people. So it's not just them coming to you, you're offering a service for busy people who would like to share memories. Or maybe you're even known for being an artist, like a certain type of style that you have for scrapbooking. So just really narrow it down to help you find your customer. I'll use another example. Let's say, for example, me, my passion is decorating. I do love to decorate, but it's not something I want to turn into a business. It's just a lot of stress. But let's say I was gonna turn it into a business. How would I narrow down decorating even more? There's so many decorators out there. I mean, so many. There's so many Instagram pages out there with the same look. I know that people do minimalist, French country, different color schemes, what they're known for. Well, for me to stand out and to be different, I would be a naughty decorator. And you can see right behind me my naughty photos, but I would teach people how to bring sexiness into their home and how to add a little touch of naughty into their home. So that would be my decorating business. Another thing that you can do that I did, this is just a bonus tip, is that I took 3 things that I loved: travel, sexuality, and history, and I combined it into a business. These are things that I'm really passionate about, that I love, and I turned those 3 things into a travel book. I talk about the history of the city, the naughty history of the city. I bring up sexuality, and I talk about travel, things that you can do in different cities to be naughty. But then I took my business further and applied my naughtiness into each of my businesses, with my clothing line, with my meetup group, to the parties I host. I don't just host parties. Anybody can host parties. I host naughty ones, but I don't just host naughty ones. Anyone can host a naughty party, as you know, where people just show up and, have sex. Whoa. But I host parties that are entertaining. I take you through an experience. You don't just come to my party and, listen to a DJ and just walk through the room to see what's going on. You're being entertained from the time that you walk in. They're interactive. There's really something to my parties that if you've never been, you have to come and experience, because I'm someone who gets bored very easily if I go to a party. If you're not, I can entertain myself, but I can do that at home. I'm going to a party to be entertained. So if you can't entertain me, I'm getting out of there. And that's something that I want to do at my parties. If I'm bored from not being entertained, I will never go to someone's house at a house party and just sit there and talk to people. That is so boring for me. My mind really needs to be entertained. So if I don't like doing something, why would I do that to my members? That pay and take the time and trust me to entertain them and host them. So that's how I narrow down my parties to make me different and my parties to stand out for the people that love it. Not everybody is gonna like what I do. Maybe, they like house parties. They like people in masks. They find the entertainment silly. They don't feel like they need that, whatever. And this is my point of really narrowing down your niche, because by doing the parties the way that I do it, I help it, eliminate the people that are not for my parties. And I really find my niche that love everything that I do, that are all about my parties. They talk about it to people. And that's what you need to do with your finding your niche. So I hope my tips helped you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. You can send a message below on YouTube, or if you're watching this on Instagram, you can just DM me or email me. I'm always here to help you. Don't be afraid to say hi. And thanks guys for watching. Until next time, stay naughty.